Hello, my name is Kelvin Yap. I would like to run through some basic Chinese metaphysics formulas and techniques for you so that you can actually use all this to embark on your journey to learn Chinese metaphysics. Basically, what I cover here is that you need to understand and memorize all the stuff here so that you can move forward to learn other things like qi men tun jia or ba zi or even feng shui. The most fundamental formulas is the five elements. In Chinese, they call it Jing Mu Sui Fo Tu. So basically, what happens is that wood will produce fire, fire will produce earth, earth will produce metal, metal will produce water, water will produce wood. So this is the producing cycle. So you on and on and on. Wood produce fire, fire produce earth, earth, and so on and so forth. And then the exhaustive cycle is where fire exhausts the wood, because wood produce fire, so wood will be exhausted. Likewise, the same, fire produce earth, so earth actually exhausts fire. Same thing for between earth and metal, because earth produce metal. It's like mother giving birth to a kid, and you be exhausted. So metal actually exhausts earth. Likewise for metal and water, same thing for water and wood. And then there is also the destruction cycle. For example, wood destruct earth. For example, a tree going into earth is actually destroying earth. Earth destroy water, like a earth control the flow of the water and the riverbank. Water put out fire, so water destruct fire. Fire melt metal, so fire burn metal, so fire destruct metal. And metal chop wood, so basically metal destruct wood. So you can see that it's a method to remember. Like you have wood, you feed it to the fire, and after fire burn to ashes, you got earth. Earth, you dig earth, you got metal. Metal, when it condenses, you get water, and you need water to water the plant, so water produce wood. So that is the producing cycle. And of course, the destruction cycle is the wood. The wood grow into the earth. So wood destruct earth. Earth control the water, like a river bank control the flow of the water of the river. So earth destruct water. And water put out fire, so water control fire. And fire burn metal, fire burn melt the metal, so fire control metal. And metal is used to chop wood. This is the He Tu chart. He Tu means river map. He means river, Tu means map, so river map. So in this He Tu map, you can see that there is a grouping of numbers to form a element. So example 1 and 6 is water and is represent north. 2 and 7 is fire, it represents south. And 3, 8 is represent wood, is at east. And 4, 9 is metal, represent west, at the west side. So of course in the middle will be 5 and 10. So all this number means that you can use, when we see 2 and 7, it actually means fire. 3 and 8 together, you see wood. 4 and 9 together, you see metal. 1 and 6 together, you see water. So that's what this He Tu means. And 5 and 10 is actually earth element in the middle. So in ancient time, you see, or rather some of the movies, so you see that the Feng Shui master actually use a hand to calculate. Basically, they are using this technique. They use their left hand and they map the whatever formula they have on the hand, so for them to memorize. So for example, this He Tu, when you map to your left hand, you see 2 7s on top, 5 10 in the middle, and 1 6 at the bottom. On a next few slides, I'll teach you how to memorize this in the pattern. So I'll break down the He Tu map again. So you get 1 2 3 4 5. So basically, what happens is that you are actually flying you see the flyway is actually like drawing a number 4. So from 1 at the bottom, 2 to the top, 3 to the left, 4 to the right, and then 5 in the middle. So you repeat the same for 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10. And then from here, you get the full set of He2 numbers. So from here you know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2 and 7 is at the top, which is fire. 1 and 6 is at the bottom, is water. 3 is wood. 3 for 8 is wood. 4, 9 is metal. And middle is 5, 10 is earth. Simple, right? This is a 罗数 number or magic square. It's a bit of a numerology, so you look carefully. On your right hand side, the table, you see all the numbers like 4, 9, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 1, 6. So what the 罗数 number means that whatever you add it up, it's always end up to 15. Whether you add up diagonally across or up or down, or you always add up to mean number 15. For example, 4 plus 3 plus 8 is 15. 4 plus 9 plus 2 is 15. 4 plus 5 plus 6 is also 15. So you add up whichever way is 15. So this is the so-called the magic square or magic numbers. And this number is when you map it into Bakwa, which I will cover later. You get all the numbers in the square and the direction as well. So this 罗数 how it being used is that the numbers and represent the numbers and the element and the direction go in pair. For example, 9. So south represent south can be represented by 9, or south means fire as well. So 9, you see 9, it also means south. It also means fire. So 1, water. It could also mean north. 6 could be northwest. So these are the so-called the original position of the numbers, and it's all based on this magic square. So again, how to memorize the magic square number or 罗数 number? Basically, you map out all the numbers on your hand. So very simple. Instead of starting from 1, you start from 3, so that when you practice the pattern, it's more easier for you to remember. So you practice the movement of the pattern like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, and go back to 4 again. So this is the flying pattern of the magic square. So this is the forward flying. Of course, the reverse flying is the other way around. So you start from 3, 2, 1, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3. So it's the backward flying and forward flying. So in flying style, use a lot of this. So you got forward flying and backward flying as well. And some of the techniques in Chinese metaphysics is based on the flying of the magic square as well. So it's good that you remember this. It's also good to remember mainly because you want to use it to plot chart or something like that. Or you can use it to memorize the element. Right? 9 is where 9 is on top, and that's the south, and that's represent fire. The concept of yin yang in Chinese metaphysics, the most fundamental thing is always based on yin yang. So yin yang is a very important concept that you need to know and understand truly. So everything is based on yin yang. So how the yin yang be derived? Yin yang, the concept come from Lao Tzu. Okay, so what happened is that he find that when he started off with nothing, it's called Wu Zhi. Wu Zhi means nothing. Then when nothing becomes something, so it becomes yin yang. So yin yang are divided into yin and yang. So yang, for example, morning is yang, night is yin. So that's where from nothing becomes something. Something is always divided by yin yang. So everything in this world are governed by yin yang, morning and night. So there's morning, there's night, there's female, there's male, right? Yang, yin yang. So that's how it was derived from here, from Wu Zhi to yin yang. So in some of the practice, in Taoism practice, they always want to attain nothingness. So they are trying to attain nothingness as in terms of become a immortal. They try to attain a level of nothingness, which is the Wu Ji level. So back to this one. So we have Tai Chi. Tai Chi are divided into yin and yang. So the yang are represented by a solid line. The yin are represented by a broken line. So That's how it's being represented. From yin yang, it form the 四象 or four image. Because we understand that in a real world scenario, there could never be a pure yang and pure yin. Even in darkness, there's also some brightness inside. Even some bright day, there's also somewhere areas there's shade and dark as well. So that's why in real world it's always based on 四象. So 四象 means within the yang there's always a yin, within yin there's always a yang, form the balance. So how 四象 was formed is that basically you divided the yang line and yin line and you subdivided into the next level. So yang line and yin line, same thing for the yin line. You put yin yang on top, the yang on top and yin on top. So you got this 四象 or four image representation in the so-called image form or the gua form, right? So if it's two solid yang line, is called O yang. When one solid yang line at the bottom and one yin line on top is called yang yang. And they same likewise, if it's two yin line, it's called O yin. And then there's one yin line at the bottom, one yang line on top is called yang yin. From there, things are further divided. So what happens is that you take the O yang, you take the yang yang, you split into two. Likewise, the yang yang and the O yang as well, O yin as well, yang yin and O yin as well. Then you start to stack yang yin on top, right? Yang yin on top. Then you get the 8 yin yang, basically 8 bakwa. So this whole thing is called bakwa. That's how bakwa is formed. So 五季生太极，太极生四象，四象生bakwa. So from bakwa, you do the same concept again. You stack all the bakwa together. You got 64 gua or 64 hexagram. That's where the I Ching is. So bakwa is I Ching is derived from the bakwa. So bakwa, you 8 times 8, you stack 8 of them together. You got 64 gua. That's where the I Ching come from. So from here you see that from 五季 becomes 太极，太极 becomes 四象，四象 become 八卦. That's how 八卦 come about. So from the previous slide, you see that how the bakwa was derived. So these are the bakwa and what are the symbol and the element is represent. So qian, the 3 lines is called qian, and the one broken on top is called dui. The middle broken is called li. The zhen is one solid yang line and 2 yin line, and so on. So we always read from bottoms up, right? So for example, kan is middle solid. So bottom is yin yang yin. So you got kan, right? So how to memorize all the gua? Basically, there is a poem on the memorizing in Chinese. There's a poem to memorize these, like 田三连、对上阙、李中虚、曾养鱼、孙下段、坎仲满、耿夫晚、坤六段. So you memorize this, then you know the symbol. From the symbol, you will know what the what family members represent, right? So firstly, to memorize the poem, and you are non-English speaking, you can use the translation one, like 钱 is trailing, 对 leg of top, li middle void, 正 is upward facing ja, sun is broken off at the bottom, kan is full in the middle, gun is upside down bow, kun is 6 broken off lines. So that's how you memorize that. You memorize all these things, and you were able to know the symbol. From the symbol, you will know which family members is this represent. So how to see that is on the next slide. How to see the family members is actually I teach on the next slide. Tips to memorizing the male bakwa. So basically, the male bakwa, you always start from the bottom. So father's always 3 young line. Just remember this. Father's always 3 young line. Eldest son, the young line is at the bottom. The rest is all yin line. Right? So you see bottom only one young line, the two all yin line, that means that's the elder son. Middle son, the young line is in the middle, the rest is all yin line. The youngest son, the young line is on top, the bottom is all yin line. Very simple, right? So for bottom, youngest, middle, eldest, younger, eldest, middle, and youngest. So you memorize all four already. Next is how to memorize the female bakwa. So again, start from the bottom. Mother is always 3 yin line, right? So eldest daughter, if the bottom only got 1 yin line, the rest is all yang line, so it's the eldest daughter. If the middle got 1 yin line, the rest is all yang line, then it's the middle daughter. If is the top only got 1 yin line, the rest is all yang line, that means it's the youngest daughter. So it's the same concept as the male, but just now you use the yin line as a reference. Pre and post heaven bakwa arrangement. So there are 2 set of arrangement in bakwa, or some say there's also the middle bakwa as well. So there are 2 sets here. The pre-heaven bakwa and the post-heaven bakwa, they call it the Xian Tian and the Hou Tian. Xian Tian is pre-heaven, Hou Tian is post-heaven. So most of the time, if you go a chance to visit Chinese temple, you can see this bakwa image. Most of the image you see is actually the pre-heaven bakwa image. The post-heaven bakwa are mainly used in Chinese metaphysics. Of course, there are some certain formula is based on pre-heaven bakwa also. So sometimes we overlap the 2 formula together for use in the Fengshui and Chinese metaphysics as well. So just remember that these 2 arrangement, the pre-heaven and post-heaven, how is it being arranged is covered on the next slide. The pre-heaven bakwa, arrangement is based on yin yang. So you notice from the bottom, you see bottom is north side is the mother, which is the kun gua, which is all yin. The opposite is all yang, right? Likewise, the younger son, the opposite is youngest daughter. Then likewise, the elder son, the opposite is eldest daughter. So it's always the opposite of each other. So the middle daughter and middle son is always the opposite. So it's yin yang in the opposite arrangement. So how to memorize the pre-heaven bakwa or early heaven bakwa? So basically, father is on top, opposite father is mother. So then the next one is same. You use son normally close to the mother. So elder son is on the left, and the younger son on the right. And opposite elder son, you got eldest daughter. Opposite younger son, you got youngest daughter. And then middle daughter and son is in the middle, so middle son is above the younger son. So very simple to memorize. This is the post-heaven bakwa arrangement. The post-heaven bakwa arrangement is actually based on the rotation of Earth around the sun. So it's observing the morning and night, and that's how they derive this. So basically what happens is that at the bottom, 6, 1, 8, and the bottom is all male gua. The top is all female gua. So on the top you see Dui, Kun, Li, and Sun are all the female gua. The bottom is Qian, Kan, Gen, and Zhen is all the male gua. So the arrangement is the bottom male, the top is female. So this is a technique to memorize the post-heaven bakwa. You got father at the bottom right, so mother is on the top right. Then across mother is the eldest daughter, and then below eldest daughter is the eldest son. Then between mother and eldest daughter, you got the middle daughter, and opposite the middle daughter, you got the middle son. And then between mother and father is the youngest daughter, and then the younger son is the bottom left. So to memorize the post-heaven bakwa, you have to know these techniques so that you know this by heart. This is very important because most of the Chinese metaphysics is based on this. Chinese classify all the arts into 5 arts. Chinese metaphysics, fine arts, so it's call it Wu Yi or fine art. So in Cantonese, they call San Yi Bok Meng Xiong. So the art of mountain, medicine, divination, destiny, and physiognomy. So this is the Chinese fine art of metaphysics. So of course, the art of mountain, which is the martial art, the kung fu martial art, all those things are they call the art of mountain. Be surprised that how come kung fu is here, but so if you really study martial art, you understand that they also have things like yin yang and five element in the martial art as well. So it's all related. Even some of the techniques that used in Feng Shui is actually come from martial art as well. So they are all related. So like for example, the art of Qigong and all those kind of stuff. So the art of mountain, art of medicine, which is the traditional Chinese medicine, is also use a lot of yin yang and five elements. So, for example, the certain organs representation of the element and how the element clash each other, those kind of stuff is all come from TCM or medicine techniques. The art of divination, which is the future prediction, 奇门遁甲, 梅花易数, all those are the art of divination. Of course, 奇门遁甲 got other things, all of that. They also do the destiny and feng shui as well. And then the art of destiny, which is life or fate reading. So things like 紫微斗数, 八字, 奇门遁甲, all those are art of destiny. So you based on your birth date and time, you plot the chart, and you interpret what going to happen to you and what are the things that you should do based on that. Of course, the art, the last but not least, the art of physiognomy, which is the art of observation. So the observation of the object to derive the answer to the problem. So what does that mean? Face reading is part of this. Palm reading, feng shui is all part of this. So you observe, and then from there you derive the answer to the problem. So feng shui is this one. Face reading and palm reading is all from here. Under this category, basically. The 10 heavenly stamps. The 10 heavenly stamps are 甲乙丙丁戊己庚辛壬癸. So in ancient time, they use it as a numbering system. So 甲 is 1, 乙 is 2, 丙 is 3, and so on and so forth. So it was said that it was first appeared during the Shang dynasty. It's about 1300 before Christ was born, and was used to represent the 10 days in a week. So it was Jia day 1, Jia Yi day 2, and so on and so forth. So later they add element to it. So they got 10 heavenly stamp element to this. Then after later you got early branches and stuff that come about, and they start to form a complete system. So remember 10 heavenly stamp, Jia Yi Ping Ting. So you look at the table on your right. These are the 10 heavenly stamp and the elements. So you if you look carefully, Jia is yang wood, Yi is yin wood. So it's always yang yin yang yin yang yin yang yin yang yin in that form. With wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. So it's like producing cycle. So it's Jia is yang wood, Yi is yin wood, Bing is yang fire, Ting is yin fire, Wu is yang earth, Ji is yin earth, Geng is yang metal. So in 八字, what happens is that they use this, like your day master is Bing, so yeah, yang fire. So yang fire represent sun, so you look like a sun, so on and so forth. So in actual fact, it's just a form of representation. It doesn't mean that Bing is equals to sun. That's not correct. It's just that the sun is represented by Bing. It's the other way around. Ping doesn't mean equals to the sun. Ping also can mean a lot of things as well. It could mean number 3, right? It also means young fire doesn't mean it's the sun as well. Young fire could be a strong burning forest as compared to a candlelight. So that could be Ping, and the candlelight could be Ting. So that kind of thing. So don't get the concept wrong, because always people, some of them get the concept wrong and said, oh, Ping is always the fire. So it's not that always the case. It's just that Ping, sun is represented by Ping. It doesn't mean that Ping is always the sun, right? And again, On your left hand side, you see the how the Jia Yi Bing Ding map out. So you can see the from the thumb is Jia, Yi is the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. So you got Jia Yi Bing Ding Wu Ji Gen Xing, the arrangement that way. So memorize this arrangement, so that you can derive the combo and so on. So this is the heavenly stems combo chart or combination chart. So Jia and Ji you combine become earth. Yi and Geng combine become metal. Bing and Xing combine become water. Ding and Ren combine become wood. Wu and Kui combine become fire. So how to memorize this chart? Basically, you need to know the position in your hand, the Jia Yi Bing Ding position in your hand. Just remember earth, metal, water, wood, and fire. So your thumb is always earth. So earth produces what? Earth produces metal. Metal produces water. Water produces wood. Wood produces fire. So you got earth, metal, water, wood, and fire. So Jia and Ji, you got earth. Yi and Geng, you got metal. Bing and Xing, you got water. Ding and Ren, you got wood. And Wu and Kui, you got fire. So how you memorize the heavenly stem combination. Heavenly stem clashes, like the 5 elements, you remember. Jia clash with Geng. Geng clash with Bing. Bing clash with Ren. Ren clash with Wu. So this is the tip is that basically yang and yang clash, yin and yin clash, right? So it follow the 5 element cycle. Jia clash with Geng. Geng clash with Bing. Bing clash with Ren, right? So when Geng control Jia, and of course Geng clash Jia lah. So wood are being chopped by metal. Metal are being burned by fire. Fire are being put out by water. Water are being controlled by earth. So it's follow the 5 element chart. 12 earthly branches. The 12 earthly branches is based on Earth orbit around the sun, as well as the Earth rotation on his axis daily. So every morning you wake up, you see the position of the sun moving from the east to the west. Right? So that is, and every single sector of that are divided by the 12 early branches. So you see at the bottom, the Yin is actually spring, Mao Chen, Si is summer, and Shen is autumn, Hai is winter. So it's actually a based on Earth orbit around the sun. So this is the 12 earthly branches attributes. You notice carefully is that there's an animal sign down there. So basically, the animal sign is used for easy people to remember. For example, this year is for 2020 is Geng Zi year. Zi is red, so this year is a red year. Next year will be ox year, and followed by tiger year, rabbit year, dragon year, snake year, and so on and so forth. 12 early branches is used to represent the year, month, day, and hour as well. That's why you see there are different elements represented here. An example, a Zi, which is red, is a young water element. It also represents time. The time is at 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. So you notice that it's 11 p.m. So in Chinese metaphysics, the day start at 11 p.m., not 12 midnight, as in the Western clock, right? Because ancient time, they at 11 p.m., the next is considered the next day already, right? And to carry on, Zi also represent the season of winter. So just now you saw the diagram of Earth rotating around the sun. So at the winter time, it's actually at the winter time. Zi also represent north sector, and it's at the 11th month. So for Chinese metaphysics, the first month is always Yin, right? So Zi is always 11th month. So the first month doesn't the Chinese metaphysics first month doesn't start from January like what we based on the calendar that we know. The first month is actually start from in February, which is the Yin month. Normally it's around February 4th or February 5th. That's where they call the Li Chun come in, the season comes in. So this is all based on the Earth rotation around the Sun. And on the right hand side, they see the distribution of the 12 early branches on the palm. So you need to memorize this position so that you can know the rest of the formulas will be able to easy to derive from there, easy to memorize for you. So you got 子丑寅卯辰巳午未申酉戌亥 on your palm already. This is the 12 early branches, six conflict or six clashes formula. Of course, there are also other formula as well, but this one is quite important because it's used quite extensively by most of the techniques. So, for example, 子 clash with Wu, 丑 clash with Wei, 寅 clash with Shen, 卯 clash with You, 辰 clash with Xu, and 巳 clash with Hai. Alright, so this is the six clashes. How to memorize it on your hand? You can see the 子 clash with Wu, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is the so-called the Liu Chong, or the six clashes among the 12 early branches. Chinese calendar. A lot of people don't know the Chinese has two type of calendars. So a lot of people recognize the Chinese lunar calendar, 初一十五. So the Chinese lunar calendar is based on the moon path rotating on the Earth. The other type is which is used in Chinese mathematics, known as the Xia calendar or farmer calendar. It's called Xia calendar because it was invented during the Xia dynasty, and it's known as the farmer calendar because all the farmer use it for plantation schedule, like when to plant, when to harvest their crop, and so on and so forth. So the Xia calendar is based on the Earth rotation around the Sun, so it's based on the season itself. The Xia calendar uses the combination of heavenly stem and early branches to describe. So they call it 10. Remember the 10 heavenly stems and 12 early branches. Only young heavenly stem match with young early branches, and yin heavenly stem with yin early branches. So there are 5 young and 5 yin heavenly stem, and there are 6 young and 6 yin early branches. Altogether, you combine all of them, you mesh all of them together, you will get 60 jiazi combination. So you got 60 jiazi all the way to Kui Hai. Back to the lunar calendar. So a lot of people, all of us know that the lunar calendar is based on the moon path. So 初一 you can't see the moon, and when you add 15 or the 15, you see the moon is so round. But the Chinese lunar calendar is actually lunisolar, in the sense that they do adjustment to realign with the solar calendar as well. That's the reason why you have extra month added to the lunar calendar, so that to make the adjustment to coincide with the solar calendar. That's the reason why the Chinese New Year is always fall between January to end February. It's always around these few dates because of the adjustment being done. They always adjust it so that they always fall within a certain range. So the jiazi calendar, the year, month, day, and hour are all represented by a combination of 60 jiazi. Together, they form the 4 pillars, and normally you use for 4 pillars 8 character budget analysis. So Chinese hours is equal to the Western hours, 2 hours, and the day start at 11 p.m. If you're not sure about this, go back to the early branches, the slide, and you show that every hour, there's 12 early branches and 24 hours. So each 2 Western hours is equal to 1 Chinese hour. Or for example, 5th September 2010, 3 p.m. is Geng year, Jiasen month, Wu day, and Genshen hour. So how the year got transit is how the year got transit when at Li Chun. Li Chun is February 4th in the solar calendar. Can be February 4th or can be February 3rd. This is when the sun is at certain position relative to the earth. When that's happened, the year will transit, and likewise the month will transit as well. A day is transit at 11 p.m. Based on the hour. So at 11 p.m. you could be the next day. So the day run from continuously based on the 甲子 chart. So it's 甲子 all the way to 癸亥, and then you go back to 甲子 again, right? Same thing for month, same thing for year, and hour as well. Next, I move on to something that passed down from the ancient masters. They always say the 山不占, the tree do not divine. So people ask you a question when you do a divination. So these are the three conditions that you shouldn't do a divination. First one is 五谷不占, no movement, don't divine. 无意不占, nothing surprising, don't divine. 无问不占, don't ask, don't divine. So what does all this mean? The next few slides I will cover. No movement, don't divine. So when there's something move, it means there's something going to happen. So example, you go temple, there people shake the lot, and the lot drop down, so that's the movement. So if there's no movement, no indication, we don't do any divination. Nothing surprising, don't divine. Basically, surprise affect the human emotion, which affect the human sixth sense. As you all might not know, the Chinese metaphysics are based on human sixth sense as well. So surprise will actually cause change in human mood. If there's change, means there is movement. So when you see suddenly you something just pop up on your head, means something about to happen. So you can actually use that as a trigger to do a divination. Don't ask, don't divine. So if people don't ask you, you don't do a divination, because it actually affect the cause and effect, or rather the karma. So things happen for a reason. If you are capable of helping, but the person doesn't ask for your help, then it's part of the person karma. Because of the person karma, that's why he didn't ask you, right? However, if you insist on helping, then you impact your karma and the person karma as well. You are basically violating the law of nature. So the point is that if you really want to help the people, then to make sure that you actually impact your karma. So these are more on the karma things. Next, I'm going to cover the art of divination and destiny reading. So what are those things, and what is it all about? So in here, there are three questions I try to answer. The three questions are: how accurate are divination and destiny reading? Why destiny reading is so accurate in reading the past event, but not accurate in predicting the future? And last but not least, can we change our destiny? So what is divination, or in Chinese called 占卜? In the Western world, they see divination as occult or supernatural. So basically, in the dictionary.com, we define divination as practice of attempting to foretell the future events or discovery hidden knowledge by occult and supernatural means. So occult and supernatural, as it's because it cannot be explained scientifically. So Chinese are more advanced. They already have all this done thousands of years ago. So what is Chinese metaphysics divination, or 占卜? Basically, it provides a peep into the future event. However, the actual outcome depends on many factors. So these are some of the possible scenarios. So let's say the person kind of asks you, after knowing the result, did nothing about it. So whatever you predicted will come true. The person asking about it, after knowing the result, react negative about it. So the thing becomes worse. The person asking, after knowing the result, decided to do something about it. Means I don't want whatever you predicted, I want to prove you wrong. So they become positive. So this is the divination outcome relation to the timeline. So example, when someone kind of asks you a divination done, so you're trying to take a peep of the future, and based on the divination done, the outcome, when you do nothing about it, this is what being foretell, and what the divination will be the outcome that you divine, right? So someone kind of asked you predicted, and this is going to be the outcome. So the person do nothing, and the outcome is going to happen. So the next is that the person say, okay, fine, I'm not going to sit around and do nothing. I do some positive action around it. and of course the outcome will be different, right? So it's positive outcome. You got a positive outcome because of positive action, and then of course you do react negatively, you got a negative outcome on what's being foretell. So there's a difference in terms of the outcome of the divination. So the accuracy of the outcome is depends on how the question has been asked and the background surrounding the question asked as well. So the more information you have, the better of the outcome that you can come up with, and of course how the person react to the result as well. Based on your divination, you tell them that this going to happen. So if the person say no, I'm not going to let that going to happen, so you do something about it. Yes. Example is that you predicted that this fella going divorce, and the person do nothing about it. Of course, you divorce. But then the person say no, I'm not going to fall into that. I want to salvage the situation, so bring the wife out, buy a diamond ring for the wife, and then so the outcome will not happen. You see, it will become positive, right? And of course, there's also things like unknown circumstances that might affect the outcome as well. So what is the unknown circumstances? We cover on the next. Sometimes things happen, and you based on the samputan, sometimes things happen, you start to do a divination. So you do the first divination done, and you're able to foretell the outcome based on the first divination. But because events start to unfold, more information you get, more things being discovered. So based on that, your first divination is based on what you know during that time. The the outcome of the prediction might not be correct anymore after the second event come about. So what happens is that when there's a new situation or happen, you need to do a second divination again, and the outcome could be different from the first divination you did. So you see from the diagram, the new situation, second divination done, you could be a positive outcome as well based on the second divination. But at the later stage, something happened, new situation, and do a third divination done. So you got a third outcome. So first, second, third outcomes are all different result. One could be positive, one could be negative as well. So how do you go about doing that? Is that you need to take all the three outcomes into consideration and do a combined analysis. This is a real life example for what I described just now. So this is a question from my student. Is regarding her father eyes. The father said that he's seeing double on the left side. So what happened is she brought him to see a eye specialist, done some MRI, check it, but they come back and say can't find anything wrong. Because she come and ask me, so I plotted a Chimun-Tunja chart. So on your left hand side, you see the Chimun-Tunja chart I plotted. So what I told her is that go find a day, which is either a Bing day, Ren day, or Yo day, to see another doctor. Because from the chart, the Tianxing is at Kanwan Palace, right? With Xiumen. So basically, what happened is that I could say that the doctor are too relaxed and not really concentrate in finding out the main reason. So I asked her to actually find another doctor. So the result of this is that she brought her father to see another eye specialist on a Bing Chen day, based on what I told her, find a Bing day. So she went on Bing Chen day, bring her father there. Within 10 minutes, the doctor diagnosed the father as the borderline diabetes. So after the blood test confirmed his diabetes, and before that, the father actually go and see another doctor, and the doctor actually suggested to go operation for the droopy eyelid. But luckily, we brought her to this doctor and found out that it's actually got diabetes, right? So how the guys see from the chart is basically the Tian Rui is in 对7 palace, Tian Rui is in Kong. That means the signal cannot be detected. So the reason why I asked her to ping day and run day or you day to see another doctor is when this thing is the chain rate balance being filled up, the doctor will be able to diagnose the correct. So what does that mean? Does it mean the divination not accurate? Because the divination say that the result of the divination is actually say that the sickness cannot be detected. But the actual fact, they actually found out is actually a diabetes. So does that mean that the divination is not accurate? So what happened is that I told the student to take a positive action based on the chart. We take a positive, active, positive action, which is being day, run day, or you day, go and find another doctor. Then you're able to diagnose. So based on that, we're able to diagnose the sickness correctly. So does that mean the divination is not accurate? Actually, no, the divination is correct. Just that the outcome is different based on your action as well. Next, I'll touch on a bit on destiny analysis. In ancient time, people are graded into this four category: Fu, Gui, Ping, Jian, rich, noble, poor, or despicable. In current time, the rich and noble are actually together. In ancient time, there are people that are rich but they are not noble. There are people that are noble that are not rich. But now, most of the people that are rich and noble at the same time, right? So basically, you look at this. Typical people can be if they are born typical and they work hard, they could be moved up to poor and go to rich as well. And rich people, if they do nothing about their destiny, they can drop down to become despicable. So that's how destiny analysis work as well. So based on your luck cycle, it can be go up and go down, from despicable to poor to rich, or rich become poor, become despicable. So this one everybody know. Throughout your age, your luck cycle always go up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's not really a constant luck. There's no constant in this world. Like yin yang is always changing. So there's nothing is constant. Change is constant. However, your luck is not really a thin line. It's actually a thick line. So if you do nothing, then of course your luck will be normal. No, but if you do something, means you need to. That means you maximize your luck. So do something, then the things could be significantly different if you maximize your luck. So you need to do something to maximize your luck as well. So ancient Chinese has got one saying called 人可信命但不可认命, means human can believe in destiny but cannot live it to destiny. So what it really means is that believing in destiny or 信命 means you embrace what you have and work around its advantages and disadvantages. For example, if you're in bad luck, you stay low, do your preparation, wait for good luck. When you're good luck, you go all out. If you leave it to destiny or 认命, then you basically do nothing. Remember just now that line I draw about the do nothing. So there's when you do nothing, that's basically you 认命. But then if you do something about it, you 信命. So based on the information you get, you plan out, go for it, and then you can maximize your luck. So Confucius also say this: 不知命无以为君子也. Basically, what he means that a person who don't know destiny is not a gentleman. Confucius emphasis a lot of being a gentleman, means people who follow rights, who do proper things. So one of the conditions is that you need to know destiny. You need to know how to react to it and how to make use of it instead of leave it to it. So how to maximize your luck? In Chinese, there is 一命二运三风水四德五术 all this, right? So it's basically you say these are the so-called the priority of it. 1 destiny, 2 luck, 3 feng shui, 4 do good deed, 5 study, 6 good name, 7 change your look attitude, 7 8 for ask for blessing, 9 obtain help from noble people, networking, and 10 is self-cultivating. So basically 1 and 2, which is the destiny and luck, is basically your destiny and luck in your chart. Like I said just now, you based on the information from there, you plan out what you do, what you don't, what you can do, what you cannot do based on that. 3 is Feng Shui. Feng Shui are the method to match your destiny chart. Get a good house to see. So anything wrong when you're in bad luck, your Feng Shui can able to help you on that. Number 4 is karma, means good deed, do good deed. People with good heart will get good returns. Study, increase your knowledge. So basically, when you have more knowledgeable, you will be able to react to the situation better. That's why they emphasize quite a lot on study as well. Good name, so name that support your destiny based on your destiny chart. What are the elements that you are short of? So you change your name to match that. Change your look at attitude. Of course, your attitude actually determine your aptitude. You need to have positive thinking so that you can get positive outcome. And number 8 is asking for blessing, basically spiritual cultivation. And number 9 is networking, nobleman, and self-cultivating, basically healthy mind. So in general, when you go for destiny reading, it's always very accurate when you're reading the past. The reason being is because you don't have the baggage of knowing the future prior to reading. So you are going there at a clean sheet. The person who read your 八字 or 紫微斗数 or 奇门遁甲 chart can be able to tell what's happened at the past. But then when they tell you this future this gonna happen to you, that's gonna happen to you, after you reading, your subconscious mind starts to kick in without you knowing it. So your mind will react to the information provided during the destiny reading. So because of the information provided, you might also decided to act differently, like the positive thinking and positive outcome you're going to do. So if what the person predicted of your future might not be accurate anymore, because you might decided to say, yes, I don't want to leave it to destiny. I believe in destiny. I want to change my destiny. So you put in action, and the outcome could be different from what predicted. So does that mean that the destiny reading master is not accurate? Actually, no, because you have the choice to change it, right? You want to, for further, you can actually read up, Google, look for Liao Fan, 4 lesson. The book talk about the person's own experience at changing destiny. This book was written during Ming Dynasty, a long time ago. So how do you maximize your luck by using Qi Men Tun Jia? As you all know, I teach Qi Men Tun Jia. So Qi Men Tun Jia divination, you can use it to provide a sneak peek of the outcome. Remember the outcome chart we're talking about? My student father's eyes example is based on Qi Men Tun Jia divination. So it give you information for you to take the appropriate action. So based on the chart, you know what gonna happen if you do nothing about it. So you do something about it, then you got a positive outcome. So like what Sun Tzu say, know yourself and know your enemy, you will 1,000 more. So you can use every scenario use it as a warfare. You use the divination to understand your enemy, and then you use the appropriate action, like know yourself, to win the war. So Qi Men Tun Jia 八字 also can be used as a basis for a major decision. For example, to make sure your house, your sayings that can support you in your future endeavor, you can choose a good sitting house that matches your Qi Men Tun Jia 八字, right? Qi Men Tun Jia 八字 can use it for you to find out what are the things that you can do, you cannot do, whether you can run a business or you better for you to work for people, and all that kind of stuff can be read from Qi Men Tun Jia 八字. And of course, to ensure that you got an optimum result, you can actually use Qi Men Tun Jia debt selection. This is the power of Qi Men Tun Jia. Debt selection is very powerful to choose a good date and time to execute your plan. Cost for precaution and lasting result, we can use Qi Men Tun Jia Feng Shui as well. This is a very potent technique in Qi Men Tun Jia. And some more serious problem, we can use the life grave, Qi Men Tun Jia life grave techniques to mitigate the problem. Next, I'm going to touch on the heaven, earth, and man, 天时地利人和. Heaven, earth, or man, or 天时地利人和. The concept of 天时地利人和, heaven, earth, or man, is the most important concept in Chinese culture, and it has been the cradle for Chinese philosophy for centuries. It's being used in all aspects of Chinese people, starting from basic business transaction up to warfare and battles. So in some of the Westerners, they translate it as Trinity, heaven, earth, and man. So 天时 or heaven, 天 concept of two words, 天 and 时, so it could mean right timing, good season or good weather. 地利 earth, it could mean a favorable environment or favorable geographical position or condition. In Sun Tzu Art of War, one of the emphasis is to have a favorable geographical position in order to win the war. So you need to have a good earth position. 人和 would mean the people involved. So in a nutshell, you look at the diagram at the bottom, you need the 天时地利人和 overlapping, the part that you overlap to be successful. So 天时地利人和 example. So let's say moving to a new house. So I choose a good date to move into a new house. The date chosen must map to the house setting, which is the 地利, and also must be integrated with the entire occupant 八字, which is the 人和. So based on that, you need to have good results. So based on my practice, I always have to map the date chosen, must map the house feng shui, and also must map the occupant's 八字. This will ensure you got the 天时地利人和 to get a good result. So if I don't use any of the occupant 八字, basically you're missing one of the elements. You only have two date selection just for the sake of doing date selection. There's no element in that. Let's say you choose a date, anyhow choose a date. The date looks good, so you just choose a date. So you need only some of the 通数 date, you say, oh, this date is good to move out, but the date is only the 天时 only. It doesn't map the heaven element only. It doesn't map into the earth element and also the man element of the 天时地利人和. So for the optimum result of the date selection, you have to match these three. I just remember I covered the 10 items to maximize your luck, which is the 1 destiny, 2 luck, 3 feng shui, stuff like that, right? And mapping that into a heaven of a man, you get heaven, basically your destiny, your luck, your name, the spiritual. Earth is basically the feng shui. And then, of course, the man's is the karma, the study, the attitude, your networking, and self-cultivating. So you see, majority of the items are under man, which is your action. So your attitude and action would determine how successful you are. So that's why if the person with the same 八字as Bill Gates, but has a different attitude and surrounding, will have different outcome. That's the reason why there's only one Bill Gates, but there's a lot of people that have the same 八字 as Bill Gates, right? So believing in destiny means to embrace what you have and work around it to advantage and disadvantage. That's where the man action comes in. I believe in it. I want to make changes, and that's tie back to your attitude as well. When you're in bad luck, you stay low, do preparation, wait for it. When you're good luck, then you go all out. So you believe in the destiny, basically you do nothing, and your life will not be improved. So thanks for watching this. What I have covered so far is just the tip of the iceberg. To go into more details, I suggest you get my books, Fundamental of Chinese Metaphysics. There are more details there and more explanation and example down there for you to read on. You can go to my website at www.fengshui-hacks.com products to order from there, or you can go Amazon and search for the title Fundamental of Chinese Metaphysics. Thank you.